There was a bear, and Chloe chased it. Just kept screaming. Here is the video I didn't want to make, which is evident by how I have procrastinated posting. It has been over 3 weeks, maybe a month, since our last video has posted, and I ended sharing a little snippet about what's to come. For anyone new here, hi, I'm Autumn, and since the spring of 2022, I have been living full-time as a nomad, living on the road. And in the spring of 2023, my lovely little sleeping cattle dog up there, Chloe, joined us, and we've been living together nomadically ever since. All of this stuff happened 4 months ago, but this was an awful experience that nearly turned deadly. I did not want to share that. I totally considered maybe I scratched this. Maybe this just isn't part of the story. All right, my friends, we are going to time travel 4 months into the past, back up to Alaska. There was a bear, and Chloe chased it. She went about halfway after it and then backed off. You heard me scream. I was out filming the beautiful terrain as it happened, because this all happened at the most beautiful campsite I'd ever been at. And then I looked over. Chloe had perked up, barked, and stood on her 2 hind legs. I looked down and I saw the bear looking up at us, and she went after it, and I started screaming in a way that I think would be deeply, deeply, deeply awful to put out there into the world. So I have chose not to share that footage. I just kept screaming. Now I'm just watching to see if the bear comes up. It looked like a black bear. It didn't chase me. It didn't chase Chloe. It's really, really hard to be a good dog mom. My goodness, if it's this hard for a canine, shout out to all the parents out there of humans. I did not have my protection on me. It was close by, but it was not on me. I was not in danger necessarily. I mean, bears can run really, really fast. My concern was for Chloe, that she would chase it because she has the herding instinct. She backed off. She did back off. You okay, honey? My goodness, I just want to keep you safe and give you a good life. That's what I want. I want to keep her safe and to give her a good life. Hey, that bear is dangerous. That bear was dangerous. Chloe doesn't usually let me hold her this close. She doesn't usually do this. I think she recognizes. She probably feels me being freaked out, and maybe she recognized the immense power of the bear. That's a scary animal. It would kill you in an instant, honey. It would kill you in an instant. Okay. It's like an hour later. I have been on full alert with my spray and protection, and just kind of decompressing from what just happened. My throat is raw as can be. I've never screamed like that in my life. I almost lost my dog tonight. There she is. There she is. You know, I so badly want a dog that can be off leash. We have worked really, really hard at recall. I understand being a free spirit, and a cattle dog is like a mega free spirit. You know, for the first while that I had Chloe, we went to dog parks every day, or we went for jogs together. So she had her energy needs met. This trip to Alaska has been really different. To be honest, it's been really hard. I didn't expect that to go to this wide open, vast wilderness space was going to require such limited off-leash time. I'm just completely lucky that this is what the outcome was tonight. That bear did not back down. That bear did not back down. What ended up happening is when Chloe took off toward the bear, we were 50 feet away from it. She ran about 25 feet toward it as I was screaming, no, no. And I was making myself as big as possible, and I was telling her, get back, get back. Oh, God, it was awful. She was darting toward it. The bear was on alert, on all fours, looking up at us. So she stopped, paused, stood on her 2 feet again, and then came back and ran toward me. As soon as she was near me, I grabbed her collar and I had my eye on that bear, and I was screaming and waving as I'm like pulling Chloe back to the van. And then I saw Bob and Cody by his car. I'm like, get in your car. There's a bear right there. Chloe chased it. And I booked it into the van. And then I was just waiting and watching for the bear. I got everything I needed for potential protection in case that bear came up toward the van. And then I started filming, decompressing with the camera. Now that Chloe is not going to be off leash at all, unless we're at a dog park, which is rare because we are remote so often while in Alaska that it's not going to happen. I have to get her energy needs met. I'm researching how to do this. So we play tug of war. We do that practically every day. And I got her a long leash. I was reading about backpack work. I like this idea. Basically make Chloe carry some heavy weight so that'll tire her out more because she's going to work hard. One of the things that's quite fascinating to see, and that I can even smile at now that I know everything is okay, is watching myself as I'm decompressing, going through sort of the fight, flight, freeze cycle. Initially, I was frozen and didn't even quite realize what was happening. That was some of what you just saw. Then I was sort of in flight mode, where it's like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Gotta do. And then I went into fight mode. I'm not gonna play what I was saying down here in this corner, but I was already starting to argue with imaginary commenters, you guys. But what I realized I was doing, being able to look at this 4 months later, I was literally just, my whole body and system was going through a fight, flight, freeze cycle. And actually it was in the order of freeze, flight, fight. And then eventually I calmed down. But a little side note, if you do go through something awful, that's actually how you know that you're on the mend from decompression, is that your body moves from freeze into fight or flight. So I actually don't really want to argue with imaginary commenters on the internet. Even though I imagine that this is a sensitive topic. People love animals, and for good reason. They're the best little critters ever. Isn't that right? Muted due to excessive baby talk. So people want to get protective. I understand that. I think what I was sharing there when I was angry is I'm doing my best. And no negative comments are going to be tolerated. Oh boy. Helpful comments are appreciated, you guys. Comments that are advice in terms of how you've coped with a dog this wild. Comments that are just, honestly, compassion does help. Compassion is like a soothing balm. And so even if that compassion is like, oh, here, I've been there, that helps to know we're not alone in these experiences. I mean, 4 months later, we're really okay. I don't particularly love watching this part of our journey. And this journey did unfold quite stressfully, as you will continue to see. But thank goodness she's here. We're on leash, more on that to come. And yeah, all right, back to Alaska. I'm tired and there's still a bear around. I don't know if the weight of the situation has hit me. That bear could have came after me. There were 2 maulings in Anchorage. I'm actually going to read about those right now. So just on July 22nd, which It was about a week ago. A 67-year-old woman was mauled, and she survived, but she was mauled, and the bear drug her off a trail. The next incident involved a man hiking with his dog, and the dog was off leash and approached the bear. And the bear charged, causing injuries to this guy's arms and hands, and he had bear spray. He survived. Let me tell you, there's this dog park in Anchorage. Can you hear how cracked my voice is? That's from having yelled at the bear. There is this dog park in Anchorage that's a great dog park. It's like 10 or 15 acres. It's huge. Anyway, we go to the dog park. 2 moose in the dog park. Chloe almost chased after them. I got her back. And that was only like a week and a half ago. And then tonight with the bear, Alaska is no joke. If only that were the end of it. Life would have just been temporarily stressful. But it wasn't the end of it. After the bear incident, I went into basically overcompensation for feeling like I let my dog down because she almost died on my watch. And I became a militant dog mom. She was completely on leash, and then I was like, I'm going into hyper intense military training for dogs immediately. And that was not good for me and Chloe. She lost her freedom, and she also wasn't used to seeing me that way. And I hated being that way, by the way, you guys. In the midst of me overcompensating, it, I think, just led to so much stress for her, so much stress for me, and it was the wrong time. You know, hindsight is 20/20. Layer on top of that, that in the midst of trying to militantly train Chloe, our tire blew. So this is also part of Alaska's chaotic charm. So our tire totally blew. And thank goodness we were in Anchorage when this happened, but it was very scary for both Chloe and I. And it wasn't just like a simple flat, it was a loud, kind of explosive flat. The van immediately wobbled and swerved a bit. Thank goodness we were fine, and I don't even believe we were close to a car accident or anything like that. But it was still very scary for Chloe. It was sudden, it was scary, it was different. And we ended up getting to a tire shop and replaced all 4 of our tires. Well, my already anxious dog, who in the best conditions experiences stress when sounds change in the van, the sound of the tread on the 4 tires was very, very loud. And that's when I really started noticing Chloe struggle in the van. Because this dog has been my road dog. She used to love going in the car, and we just spent most of our life together traveling a great deal, and she'd stick her little head out the window, and she absolutely loved it. So Chloe being afraid in the van was really troubling for me, especially seeing how her fear intensified. She was shaking so significantly, it's like she was convulsing, and she was even drooling. And I'm like, I have 5,000 miles to drive. And it was so bad that I considered things like maybe I have to stay in Alaska this winter. But I was not prepared. I was not financially prepared, and my van was not prepared. So that wasn't really an option. I started working with her vet back home. I was able to have some Zoom calls, and then also the urgent care local vets to get things like trazodone, calming aids, and insight into what might be happening. I got her a thunder vest. I dismantled and deconstructed my rig so that I could make her a den-like structure, and some of it helped, but ultimately it was just extremely, extremely stressful. And although she did fine on the roads for almost 3 months before this happened, those Alaskan roads are awful. So I ended up taking the ferry, and I didn't even think I would. I just was so lucky that it happened to land in Haines. And I was like, oh my gosh, let's go. And it was very expensive and way out of our budget, and I dipped into my emergency fund, but it was an emergency. It was necessary. And I'm attempting brevity, but a lot has happened in 4 months. We landed in Bellingham, Washington, and by the way, there are several people I really wanted to reach out to and see there. I just needed to get Chloe to a place of stability And let me put it this way, I went from Bellingham, Washington, all the way to Montana. There's reasons for that I'll explain in a later video. And then down from Montana to Arizona, all in like a day and a half, you guys. Like, I never drove that far. I medicated the heck out of Chloe with the vet supervision, thank you, and barely slept. And I just drove as much as I possibly could because I was like, I have to get to a place of just pure stability. Being able to give Chloe that stability and doing some retraining and then working with her vet here and just doing a bunch of stuff to help her feel confident and secure and stabilized has really helped. And it's a whole different thing. Like, this is Chloe recently. But there was more. Because I was like, okay, we're in a place where she can use her tracker so she can be off leash. We can work on recall. Her recall, fantastic, 100% when we're in a dog park. It is 100% when we're practicing recall training on her lead. Let her off in the forest, she doesn't listen. I don't want anybody to love Chloe any less, but let me tell you, this dog does not like other dogs. She has done fine in dog parks with other dogs, and I think it's because she recognizes through her scent that the dog park is not her territory. She has not gotten into a fight at a dog park until after Alaska. So I don't know if all of the stress and all of the time away from dog parks has made her a non-dog park dog anymore, which also makes me really sad. She and Cody, Bob's dog, have gotten into 3 major fights. Bob even gotten in the middle of one to protect Cody because Chloe, well, Cody's pretty feisty too, but Chloe's much younger. And she started the fights with Cody, you guys. And I'm just so grateful that my friends who Chloe has attacked their dogs are still my friends. And I absolutely have to make sure to protect other dogs. Chloe has never been aggressive with humans, but she has been aggressive with nearly every other dog we've ever camped with. Chloe has escaped, like ignored my recall when she's been off leash in the forest, ran up to another dog's camp and nearly started a fight with another camper's dog on their territory. So she can't be off leash. She just can't be off leash. But before all of that happened, while she was off leash and I was attempting to try to retrain and have this recall and have this off leash dog, she did what dogs do. She found the poop. She rolled in feces, and I think it was human feces. Clean up your feces. Why would you just leave feces in the forest? Like, Anyway, she rolled in it. And I gave her a huge significant bath with all the water I had in the van, and it was disgusting and gross, and it took all my water. And she got a UTI the next day, which was a $600 bill because we needed to go to the emergency vet, and she peed all over the van multiple times because she was hurting. UTIs are terrible. So back we were to the vet. I can't even tell you, we have seen the vet more in these last 4 months than we ever had the entirety of time I've had her. 6 weeks after that, she got a rebound UTI. Just, it didn't clear, I guess. She seemed like she was okay in between, but rebound UTI, another trip to the urgent care vet. Oh my goodness, another $600. That doesn't include all of the vet bills I had in Alaska via Zoom and the cost of the ferry to help Chloe. You guys, I am out about $4,000 in the last 4 months. I also forgot to share about how she also rolled in dead animal and was eating elk guts when she ignored my recall and then was projectile vomiting in the van. I've just had to do so much laundry. Life truly became unmanageable, extremely stressful. I realized I was resenting her even with how much I love her, and I feel like you're not supposed to ever say that. Like that you shouldn't even feel it. But you know what? That's the truth. And I realized I was behaving codependently, constantly, like just pouring out self-sacrifice to try to let this dog run wild with her instinct. Well, that is like truly the dynamic of someone with addiction and someone with codependence. Chloe is addicted to like bunny rabbits and dead animals and poop. I was being codependent, trying to be the best dog mom I could possibly be and literally letting my life unravel trying to do the right thing. So good intentions, but they do say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So I did explore if rehoming was the right option, you guys, which absolutely tore me apart. This is another reason I procrastinated this video. I was mortified at the thought of losing Chloe. When I adopted her, I was committed to giving this dog her best life. And I had to look at, is that with me? And I'm willing to move a lot slower for Chloe. I'm willing to do things very differently for Chloe. So then I had to look at, will nomadic life work for my dog? Well, it literally has all up until this experience in Alaska. But I had to look at it, and I actually consulted 3 different vets about this. 2 of the vets very firmly believe that Chloe is best with me, and I believe that too. One of the other vets kind of strongly believed that I should rehome her, and I didn't like that feedback, but I appreciated that I went to consult somebody even if I didn't want to hear their feedback. But I didn't like that feedback. What I came to see is, if I were to rehome Chloe, the conditions are terrible. She can't have another animal in the home. She attacks them. And Chloe has never been aggressive to humans, and she loves kids, but she's very strong, and she kind of scares kids. Like, what could the right conditions be? She's a working dog, she's a cattle dog, but she can't be around other animals. So it'd have to be in a home with no other animals, no children, no elders. So it'd have to be people who are of kind of the working age. So in their 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s, working. And yes, maybe they'd have a yard, but then they'd have to be working. So she'd be alone all day long. At least with me, even if she's on leash, we spend 24 hours a day together. We have a bond. We love each other so much. This dog loves me as much as I love her. I just don't believe rehoming Chloe is the most humane thing. And I will tell you this, if I believed it was, I would do what was right for her. But I don't believe that that is the best thing for Chloe. In the last month, since I have made the firm declaration of, this will not be an off-leash dog and I will no longer try, it's been sad. I've grieved for her. I've seen dogs running wild and living their best life on the internet, and I felt sad. And Chloe has longed and has pulled and has clearly wanted some freedom. That being said, for now, this is where we're at. I have heard people talk about shock collars, and while that is a path I didn't want to take, I'm not opposed to learning in the future. I'm also open to any suggestions. She's doing much better, I'm doing much better, but my goodness, it's been a hell of an experience. For those who have watched this long and stuck through this story this long, thank you so much for being here. You guys, you as a community, your love, your support, your care as a community is why, when I was super stressed and decompressing, I sat in front of the camera and just started sharing my heart and my decompression process, because I knew on the other side is love. It's one of the great joys of having this YouTube channel. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.